Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming pattern. We have some severe weather on the way, as well as a couple of snow events as well, so we're going to be talking about all of that within this video. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. And I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below, and then also our very awesome channel membership that you can check out next to that subscribe button. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, over the course of this later week and weekend, do you think we will have a slight risk or worse? Or do you think we're just going to stay at a general thunderstorm or marginal risk? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, first things first, we're actually just taking a look at the total snowfall maps, actually. I know that seems kind of backwards. Usually I would show that at the end. But I just wanted to show you that there is some snowfall on the way for sure for many regions in the United States. But we're eyeballing that northeastern region. This is through the entire model run, so this is 10 days on the European model, and you can see mostly the interior northeast and then down through the Appalachian Mountains, so more of the high elevation regions, all the way down through into West Virginia, North Carolina. We're expecting some snowfall, and these models are definitely varying on how much of that they think there's going to, be. Let's move on to that GFS model, for example, and look at how much more limited that is, especially along the East Coast. Obviously, we have a lot of snowfall going on out west, but according to the GFS model, not as much in the east. And then the Canadian model here, and it's kind of something in between. It is a little bit more than the GFS, but a little less than the European model as well. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the severe weather threat in just a moment. All right, now here we are taking a look at about 6 a.m. there on Thursday, February 25th, and this is our simulated radar according to that European model. And as you can see, not a lot is happening yet by that point. And Thursday is the first mini severe weather threat that I expect to occur. And as we jump to those temperatures, as we reach closer to those high temperatures that day, so this is maybe I would say this is approximately about 2 p.m. there on Thursday. So we're reaching close to those high temperatures. And you can see there's generally some 60s, some mid 60s, some upper 50s showing up for a lot of the state of Texas, and then kind of southeastern Oklahoma as well. But I'm mostly eyeballing around Dallas actually for this day. Let's go ahead and take a look at that CAPE, and this is convective available potential energy, and basically this is just telling us how much fuel those thunderstorms will have to work with, basically, and we're looking for 1,000 plus. You can see there is some of that around, but generally this is a low CAPE event, and by the time we're reaching later on in the evening on Thursday, there is a lot of rain around, possibly thunderstorms. Here's that severe weather threat according to the Storm Prediction Center for that day. And as you can see, we have a marginal risk basically from Dallas, Fort Worth, all the way, take that eastward towards northern Louisiana there, and then southern Arkansas. So there is going to be a marginal risk of severe weather on Thursday and through Friday morning. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at our next even bigger severe weather threat that I'm eyeballing within the next few days. Now for this one, we're just going to track the CAPE, honestly. So we're taking a look at approximately 11 a.m. or so there on Saturday, February 27th. So we're still a few days away from this one. But as you can see, generally under 1,000 CAPE to start things out later that morning. But by the time we're reaching 6 a.m., believe it or not, or 5 a.m. there on Sunday, so later that night, we're going to have 1,000 to 2,000 CAPE all over the place for Texas, Oklahoma, even 1,000 plus, reaching into Arkansas and portions of Louisiana as well. Here's those temperatures on Sunday afternoon. So I think this is generally going to be a 2-day threat, potentially Saturday into Sunday, both days having some impacts. But the high temperatures on Sunday, I mean, mid to upper 70s, that's going to be sufficient for that thunderstorm development. Even the lower or mid 60s for some of those other states, it's going to be good enough. And even later on that day, here's the dew points. And again, this is generally probably about 2 or 3 or 4 p.m. there. So around the high temperatures, we have upper 60s for our dew points, which is very, very good for severe weather development. So I don't know, guys. I think we're going to have a pretty decent shot at severe weather this weekend, Saturday into Sunday. Mostly Sunday I'm eyeballing here at this point. And as you can see, around 3 p.m. on Sunday, this is what that simulated radar is going to look like. So there will be precipitation in the area. It is going to be a high CAPE event by the time we're reaching this one. The dew points and temperatures will be sufficient. So that's all of the ingredients there, mostly that you need for severe weather to develop. Obviously, we're going to need to wait and see how that shear is going to set up as well for tornado potential. But for now, we know that there's going to be thunderstorms building in the area with a general severe weather threat of some sort there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on. And really, I think this one is going to move towards the southeastern states across those Gulf states into the southeast. So we're going to watch that happen in just a moment. So this is by time we're taking a look at about 5 or 6 a.m. there on Monday, March 1st. And as you can see, those storms have moved even further south there. We see portions of Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama seeing that as well. And let's take a look a little bit further east. And this is going to be Tuesday at about 1 p.m. there on March 2nd. And as you can see, we're going to have 1,000 plus Cape around for Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and maybe even South Carolina there. So I think this is going to be a multiple day general thunderstorm and marginal, slight, lower risk severe weather threat as well. I think that day on Sunday, though, that's the one that could be a slight risk or more. So we're going to be watching very closely. We're going to be pretty close to being in range to where the Storm Prediction Center is going to start putting out outlooks for the day on Sunday. So I'm very curious to see what they think, and I'm anticipating seeing their outlooks for this event as well. But for now, I think that we're going to have multiple days of thunderstorm and lower chance of severe weather threats this weekend and through early next week. And by time we're reaching March 6th, or late on March 5th, actually, better yet, on Friday, the Cape is gone. We don't really have any Cape in the United States, so that severe weather threat is going to diminish, and that's typically how this time of year goes. We'll have some, flashes of some severe weather, and then really just quiet periods. It's once you get into April, May, that's when you consistently have a marginal slight risk every single day, basically somewhere. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to move on, and we're going to take a look at some of those snowstorm threats in just a moment. So in a moment, we are going to take a look at those snowstorm threats, but I wanted to mention real quick, I just took a look at some of the audio because I usually do these in little chunks, and I just did the first 7 minutes of this video, and I noticed the audio sounds a little bit weird, so let me know if you guys noticed that as well. Sometimes I just record a huge chunk of audio and it just sounds a little off, so I apologize if that is the case, but I am going to talk about the snowstorms now. I don't want to bore you guys to death. I apologize if the audio does sound a little lower quality there for the first beginning portion. I have no idea what that's about. We see early on Saturday, February 27th, we see some snowfall going on for the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, but also down there for the Mid-Atlantic, again, kind of more the high elevation regions. That moves up kind of innocently up into New England, and this generally would be like maybe an inch or two, if nothing. But then once it moves up into the northern regions of New England and the Northeast, we're taking a look at a little bit more for those higher elevation regions up there. I would say probably 3 to 6 inches is possible in those more New England, Adirondack mountainous regions. Now, I'm really watching, by the time we're reaching Wednesday, March 3rd at about 5 or 6 a.m. here, a nor'easter develops, and what's interesting is this is actually that severe weather low pressure center, the low pressure center that was causing all of that severe weather earlier on. This eventually just becomes a nor'easter offshore of the Delmarva, bringing snowfall to Pennsylvania, West Virginia potentially, and this moves up into New England according to this model, and this could be our next major upcoming snowstorm if it does play out this way. Obviously, this is very far out. We have one model showing it right now, but the interesting thing is this would definitely be a very heavy snowstorm with a nor'easter, again, moving offshore of the Delmarva, the Mid-Atlantic, and then up into New England. I could definitely see this one dropping, 10 inches plus widespread, maybe even more, just based on how this one develops and everything. It's classic major snowstorm look to it. And eventually, by about 5 or 6 a.m. here on Thursday, this one closes out with some moderate snowfall, especially for the mountainous regions. We see the Green Mountains, the Adirondacks, the White Mountains, and then northern Maine still seeing some snowfall. But I think that's a 965 millibar low pressure center. So this one is a very strong nor'easter creating this snowstorm. Anyway, for our confidence tab, we're going to split it into two, one for snow, one for severe weather. Our snow is at a 3 out of 6. The models are all over the place with these upcoming snow threats and varying on that intensity. So we're not very confident in very much of anything at this point with the snowfall. We know there probably will be snowfall, but it's just the details is where we're really struggling to pin that down. The severe weather, though, I feel very confident in that, actually. I think a 5 out of 6 because really, we have the Cape, we have the temperatures, we have the dew points, we have the low pressure system. It is that intensity of the severe weather that is the question, but I do feel very confident that there will be severe weather over the course of the next few days, like I've on especially the dates that I've mentioned. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, how do you think this upcoming spring is going to go? And Red Storm said, or Reed Storm, I don't know how you say that, said it will be a glorious sunny spring with a lot of rain, and that's all we can hope for. So I like the positive thinking there. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons. Sebastian Tao, John Bembenek, James Wade, Dovi Nagel, Alan Balemo, Adam S., Larry LePan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aiden Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Mark J, Luke Falego, Gary's, and John Quilisi. If you would like to be a part of this Patreon history of the day, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.